welcome to Anonymous Storytellers. I'm Cole. Today we are with
Xen, the classic of gay flavors. Oh, fuck you.
And I'm Malcolm. Once again here for another good story.
Today we'll be reading Unparalleled Silence by FireBowser. Some info to know is that they made the story for a Reddit NoSleep contest, and as you all know, we love reading NoSleep posts. We found the story archived on their fanfiction net. The story was posted there on the date of January 22nd of 2012.
You fuckers should go check it out. Because if I can't sleep tonight, you guys can't either.
Also, they should give some love to the author. Read their other works. The other Reddit No Sleepers we're reading today is Pennyworth223. They also go by Jay or Majin Zeldiri. They have a YouTube account and a Buy Me Coffee, so please show them some love. The story we're reading from their collection is My Friend Wanted to Test a Haunted Trail. There's Something in the Trees.
Well, without further ado, let's start reading Unparalleled Silence by FireBowser. Day 25 of June, 2009. Time, 2:15 a.m.
This is a bone-chilling story that I would love to share with you guys, with the regulars here at No Sleep.
I woke in my tent, stretching tiredly. The sound of a gentle breeze whisked about. I studied my surroundings, still attempting to rub the sleep from my eyes. After absorbing the absence of light and the fact that the 9 other sleeping bags remained unmoving, I determined that it must be past midnight. I quietly collected my cell phone from underneath my pillow and glanced at the time, shooting the bright light with my hand. 2:15. I thought briefly about why I had awoken at such a late hour. As if on cue, the call of nature sent uncomfortable tingles through my body. I wanted to return to sleep. I knew we weren't supposed to leave the tent this late at night, or without an adult. But after reminding myself that I had been to this camp every year since I was 12, I hopped out of bed and tiptoed over those sleeping bags towards the exit. The bathroom located in our church's camping establishment was well over 500 feet from where we had set up our tents. For those of you who have been camping before, outhouses do tend to have a rancid odor. Our particular outhouse smelled horrid and is located amongst jagged rocks, making it difficult to sleep near. As such, we will always set up our tent a fair distance from the painful rocks and awful stench. I stepped out of the tent, shivering at the initial nip of the cool summer air. After quickly scanning the field, I realized that I couldn't see anything, let alone find the dirt path that led to the bathrooms. I poked my head into the tent and swiped a flashlight that had strayed from its owner. I pushed the switch forward, and the path before me became engulfed in bright white light. With the safety of the flashlight's illumination, I began walking towards the bathroom.
The field in which we set up camp is bordered by a dense, dark forest. During the day, it's easy enough to find your way about, but the night gives it an entirely different character. After the sun has gone down, the trees almost seem to converge upon one another, creating a dense, dark, unfamiliar void of shadows. We, being the intelligent campers that we pride ourselves for, set up a tent a mere 15 feet from this horror cliche. The dirt path that leads to bathrooms forces you to hug the tree line, bringing you close enough to reach out and caress the bark. To say that I felt spooked and uneasy about that bathroom trip would be a mild understatement. I knew from the moment that I had left the tent that something didn't feel right. But isn't that similarity that all horror stories share? I warily wandered down the walk, attempting to strife the terrifying thoughts that had already begun to circulate through my unnecessarily creative mind. My senses had exaggeratedly embraced my surroundings, assaulting me with chilling feedback. I could hear every twig snapping around the forest. I witnessed the unparalleled accuracy. The forest come to life about me. its shadows shifting into figures and dancing menacingly. My heart raced, sending every adrenaline gland in my body into overdrive. Sweat poured down my face, making the chilly air feel downright frigid. I quickened my pace, struggling to keep a level head. I reached the bathroom in record time. After I sat down to start my business, I concentrated by slowing my panicked breathing. After all, this was just my overactive imagination teasing me, right? When I finished, I stood.
It's all in your head.
I kept repeating to myself. To this day, I'm not sure how long I stayed in that stall. Eventually, I gathered the courage to make the trip back to the tent. I exited the stall, briefly grimacing at the foul odor emitting from the area. Something seemed off about the smell at the time, but I wasn't about to investigate. I left the bathroom, trotting back to the tent at a slightly quicker pace. About halfway between the bathrooms and the tent, I stopped dead in my tracks. I didn't know why. My body had just frozen where I was walking. The desire to continue walking was overwhelming, but I couldn't bring my legs to move. I stood still, unable to do anything else. Then it hit me. The reason that my body had reacted to it dramatically. The noises of the forest had ceased. Not just the horrific inventions of my imagination, the regular noises, the sound of the wind, the ever so slightly rustle of the leaves, everything. The forest was absent of noise. One could not simply imagine what this felt like. It must be experienced to be properly understood. It was nothing like I had ever felt. Like every single feeling that I had ever been familiarized with in this world just disappeared. My logic scrambled to understand how to interpret what was happening. This eerie alteration alarmed and frightened me. Without the aid of my familiarizations, the terror began to fill every inch of my body. It forced the hairs on my neck to stand on the end, and goosebumps to impose themselves about my arms and legs.
What felt like hours later, I remained unable to run and unable to comprehend. Just as I was about to attempt to step forward, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the field, reverberating even louder inside my head. The scream was articulate and easy to understand. Albeit unbearably loud, I collapsed to the ground, pushing my ears forcefully in, making a pathetic attempt at blocking out the abomination, but it only seemed to get louder as I realized it was my name being screamed. The shriek repeated, over and over. I squirmed relentlessly on the grass, competing unsuccessfully with outcry for relief. If it were even possible, the shrieks got louder and more frequent, urging my other senses to bear part of the impossible load. Tears of agony escaped my tightly shut eyes, and I continued to kick and thrash on the ground. I tried to communicate my pain, yelling,
"Stop!"
But without success. The bone-wrenching screams became louder still, causing a feeling that one could not interpret as an inside-out blender being turned on in each ear. I felt myself slipping into darkness, grateful for the easing of my pain. Eventually, nothing. I felt a nudge on my shoulder. I registered that I was now lying on my back, and that it was daytime. I could see the bright orange light seeping through my eyelids. I felt a more incessant nudge this time. I wanted to respond, but I was physically drained and unwilling to move. This time, I felt a pair of hands grasp my shoulders and roughly shake me. I slowly opened my eyes, groaning in the introduction of the disgustingly bright sun. I was looking at a bright blue sky with the sun overhead. Noon, I thought. I glanced around me, confused at the collection of people. They were just the people from my camp, but they were all standing around me in a circle, concerned etched within their expressions. This girl sitting next to me, whom I could only assume was the one who had forced me awake, was speaking. I could see her lips forming sentences, but couldn't hear her. Simply a dull, muffled drone. I said,
I can't hear you.
out loud, hoping that she could hear better than me. Where was that scream that I had heard? Where had it gone? Had I gone deaf from having to endure it? The girl next to me, Emily was her name, collected some dirt from the ground. She motioned to the dirt, and then to her own ear. I initially reached up to my own ear and attempted to fit a finger inside. I quickly discovered what she meant. I had shoved dirt into my ears. I began freeing the dirt, all the while remaining face up on the ground. While I finished digging the dirt from my other ear, I could hear the others around me more clearly. I caught a glimpse of blood on my hands, and asked Emily about it. She told me that my entire face was covered in blood that appeared to have come from my ears, eyes, nose, and mouth.
What happened last night?
Emily asked, clearly concerned about something other than me.
I don't know.
I croaked. My throat felt like it was on fire.
I went to the bathroom last night and was on my way back, screaming. What happened to the screaming?
I asked. At this point, everyone in the circle seemed to have noticed that I was awake. They had all been intently listening to my explanation and exchanged looks of horror and worry when I mentioned the screaming. She began, but I cut her off.
Screaming, Emily? It was louder than a bat out of hell. It was screaming my name. It was so loud. Wait, what do you mean that's not all?
I stuttered, suddenly picking up on the feelings of discomfort of the group.
Well, Kat, Sarah went missing last night. We were asleep almost all night, but I woke up around 2:30 and noticed that you and Sarah were missing. I assumed that you guys had just gone to the bathroom and went back to sleep. But when I woke up, you guys weren't back yet. We found you here. You were unconscious and bleeding everywhere. But Sarah is...
Emily began to sob. I couldn't quite put everything together. Sarah? Had I noticed her in the tent before I left? There's no way to tell. Everybody was huddled together in a giant pile of sleeping bags. I wouldn't have noticed if someone was missing. Still, something kept nagging at the back of my aching head. A piece of the puzzle that I had missed. A piece that everybody else lacked. Another camper approached me.
Can you stand up?
Said Taylor. I winced, but managed to get to my feet with her help, plus another camper. The pain in my head tripled, but I fought it back. Trying to get a grasp on the current situation, I knew I should be upset about her disappearance, but something about what they were saying to me just didn't feel right. I knew I had the answer, but I couldn't explain out loud why I felt that way. I just somehow magically knew the answer, but I couldn't figure it out, especially not with the pounding in my skull. I began to feel lightheaded and collapsed. The same campers caught me and set me on the grass. Taylor gently urged me back, letting me rest my head comfortably in her lap. She grabbed her water bottle and began gently ridding my face of dried blood. The other campers followed suit, sitting around us. I noticed that half the group was missing, probably out searching for Sarah.
Okay, Kat. Could you tell us what happened last night, starting from when you left the tent?
Asked Taylor. I nodded, unsure of my ability to do so.
Sure. I woke up and had to go to the bathroom. I know the camp really well because I've been coming here for 4 years, so I figured it wouldn't be a big deal to walk over there. I'm not sure if Sarah was still in the tent at the time. I didn't really notice anybody out on my way out. I headed over to the bathroom and had a weird feeling the whole way. I guess it was just really dark and my mind was playing tricks on me anyways. I got to the bathroom and cooled down a bit. there weren't any animals around, so I wasn't too worried. Then I left the bathroom. There was this weird...
I trailed off. The campers asked, concerned about my rapt silence. I ignored them. The smell. The bathroom smelled different that night. It was horrible, rotting, putrid smell, but I chose to ignore it because I was too scared to stay. I sat upright from Taylor's lap, knocking the water bottle out of her grip. Ignoring the protests and questions from other campers, I scurried to my feet, ignoring the bouncing lights clouding my vision, and the pain in my head. I sprinted to the bathroom, terrified of what I already knew was there. I made it to the restroom, wheeling around the corner of it to reach its backside, where my gaze was met with made my stomach churn, and the pain in my head magnified to an indescribable intensity. I turned to the side and wrenched into the grass. As the other campers caught up with me, they witnessed what I had seen. They immediately turned away. Looks of absolute disgust and horror seared into their eyes. Pinned to the wall of the outhouse was Sarah, or what remained of her. Her hands and feet had been nailed to the wall with old, rusty nails. Her body was bruised and cut open from top to bottom. Her eyes had been pulled from their sockets and placed in her lower jaw, which had been broken off and re-nailed to her skull. Her stomach had been cut open. Her intestines spilled around the grass by the wall. Some of her intestines had been fashioned into jewelry and strung around her neck. She had been completely stripped of clothing, and somebody had used her blood to write thousands of words around the wall where her body was nailed. The first sentence said,
"You'll never hear us coming."
Written in neat handwriting, as if somebody had spent an hour making sure every letter was aligned. After that sentence, there was hundreds of repetitions of the same word. My name, just cat, spelled with too many A's, as if mimicking the sound of a person screaming it. The writing became bigger until it reached a single word, which had been given to its own space amongst the blood. It said,
"Stop! Stop!"
Written in all caps. The writing that followed, "Stop," continued to grow. Just repetitions of my name, getting bigger and bigger until whoever did this ran out of my room. I was positively horrified. Somebody had gone through a lot of trouble to cause my friend a slow, painful, agonizing, disgusting, and violating death. They had basically written out her final words, and my cry to make the scream stop had been included in the first sentence.
"You'll never hear us coming."
It shook me to the very bone. A trail of blood leads from the body, away from the restrooms. My eyes followed it, still partially wet from the amount, glistening in the sun. It leads away from the body, into the forest. As I raised my gaze, my eyes met the person waiting on the other end of the blood trail. I screamed as I recognized the murderer. It was me. I awoke, screaming into the darkness of my bedroom, the image of Sarah's massacred body still fresh in my mind.
Well, there you have it, Reddit. This was a nightmare that I had after attending my summer camp one year. Incredibly frightening. But also just a nightmare? Or was it?
Well, that was quite a story. What do you two think?
I liked it.
It was interesting. I liked it too.
Yeah. I thought the pacing was on point, truthfully honest. I was like, I got gripped in and I'm in it, you feel?
Yeah, I wasn't really looking away at any part personally.
Absolutely am. No, same.
Do you think that one and the creepy factor, where would you guys put it?
I would say higher than the last one.
Higher than the last one?
7.
Solid 7.
7?
Yeah, nice.
I can see 7.
Yeah, I like 7. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 7 too. Yeah.
Angel numbers.
I say we should look more into what else this person's written. I want to see more of the writing, because we know they at least the cool thing is they archive their posts in fanfics, and this was for a contest. I wonder if they won, because that'd be cool if they did, because this is really good.
I assume so.
I hope so.
I hope so. Straight up.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we should definitely look at some of her work sometime. And if you guys liked it, please check out her stuff. Like, she is good. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just want to jump into it then? Next one?
Yeah.
Zen, you sounded so out of it. Do you not want to? You want to talk more about this story? We can.
No, I'm just being a dickhead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. At least you admit to it. All right.
Sometimes.
Bloody hell. All right. Well, now we will begin reading My Friend Wanted to Test a Haunted Trial. There's something in the trees. We weren't supposed to be out there. Not because it was illegal or fenced off or something. The government doesn't want you here. It was just one of those places locals talk about like it's weather. You don't like the trail about after 4. You don't camp by the creek. If you hear someone calling your name, you keep walking like you didn't. Everyone has a version of why my friend had all of them saved in his head like tabs he never closed.
Dude,
He spoke, adjusting the straps on his pack.
I'm telling you, it's not even a hard trail. It's basically a loop. We're in and out.
I stood under the wooden kiosk of the trailhead and stared at the map like it might change its mind and become comforting. Pine Hollow Loop, 3.8 miles. Elevation gain, 640 feet. Last water, Sage Creek, seasonal. Below it was the warning board, weather, ticks, black bears, and a bright red sign that said, carry out trash, no fires, stay on trail. Standard stuff. Then lower down, someone had carved into the wood with a key or a knife. The letters, don't deep enough to catch the light. Don't listen. I stared at it a little too long. My friend saw me and smiled like he'd won.
See? Haunted.
It's graffiti.
Graffiti with intent? Also my cousin's friend. Okay, yeah, I know my cousin's friend swears he already heard a lady crying out here last summer. Like, full on sobbing. And when he went to check...
You don't go check.
Exactly. That's what makes it creepy. That's the point.
He said like we were buying tickets to a haunted house. The thing about my friend is he wasn't dumb. He got A's without trying. He was good at sports. He had common sense most of the time. But he had this itch, like he needed to prove scary stories were fake by walking straight into them.
You told your mom you were at my house?
I asked as he rolled his eyes.
Yes. And I told my dad we were getting fresh air. Relax.
Fresh air.
Fresh air with lore.
He formulated his words, grinning, and started down the trail before I could argue again. I followed, and the gravel lot disappeared behind the trees. At first, it was normal. Pine needles underfoot, sun through branches, a couple of squirrels doing their usual "I'm going to throw an acorn at you" routine. The trail was well worn, wide enough for 2 people if you didn't mind brushing shoulders. We talked like we always talked when we were trying to make time pass. School, a teacher we both hated, how his older brother was probably going to flunk out of community college because he spent more time benching than studying. He kept tapping the side pocket of his pack like he was checking something. Eventually, I realized it was his phone.
No service.
My dad's going to say this is nature's healing my screen addiction?
Your dad texts you 8 times a day.
That's love.
He warded, and then, like a magnet, the conversation swung back to place.
You ever notice how every town has a don't go in the woods spot?
Yeah, because people get lost in the woods.
No, like a specific spot. Like there's always a bridge or a creek or a trail that everyone agrees is weird?
Maybe because people like making stuff up?
I mentioned. He walked backwards for a couple steps, hands spread like he was presenting a case.
Okay, but answer this. Why do all people always hear voices? Like the same thing? Crying? Someone yelling your name? A baby? It's always the same.
Because brains are stupid.
We hear patterns. It's like how you see faces in the clouds.
He snapped his fingers.
Exactly. Faces.
What?
He nodded towards the trees.
That's what people say they see out there. Faces. Like in the bark, in the leaves. Like someone is standing behind a tree. But when you focus, it's just wood.
A chill ran up my spine that had nothing to do with temperature.
Cool.
Dude, you're fine. You're literally armed.
Looked down on what he meant. My little folding knife clipped to my pocket. It was cheap. My uncle gave it to me at the gas station. It had the logo on it. Something great for opening boxes. Not much else.
Yeah. Terrifying.
We kept walking. About a mile in, we passed a small wooden post with a metal tag nailed into it. PHL-1.0. My friend stopped it like it was a checkpoint.
1 mile. See? Easy.
I nodded, but my attention had snagged on something else. Smell. Not rot. Not skunk. Not bear. Something like wet pennies and old leaves. Like metal left out in the rain. It came and went. Faint. Like the woods we were breathing in. After maybe 20 minutes, the trail narrowed. The woods got thicker. The air changed. It wasn't colder, exactly, but it felt heavier. Like the wind didn't move here the same way. The sound of our footsteps got softer, muffled by moss and damp earth. That's when I heard the first "I'm being watched" moment. It wasn't dramatic. No twig snap. No shadow darting. Just a feeling like someone had leaned closer behind you in a line, and you could sense the space changing. I glanced back. Nothing. Just the path curving away, empty and green.
You good?
Yeah, thought I saw... never mind.
Faces in the trees.
Shut up.
He chuckled, pleased with himself, and we kept going. Another 10 minutes, and I saw it again. Not a full person, not a clear shape, face, or what my brain insisted was a face. Pale and flat between two trunks off to the left, half hidden by fern fronds. Just enough contrast to look wrong, like skin where there shouldn't be skin. I stopped walking without meaning to. My friend took a few steps before noticing, then turned.
What?
I stared. The face didn't move. It didn't blink. It just was. My throat tightened.
Do you see that?
See what?
Right there.
I said, pointing. He leaned slightly, then shrugged.
Bro, that's a light patch of bark.
That's not bark.
I said, and I hated how small my voice sounded. He walked close to the spot like he was approaching a museum exhibit.
It's literally bark.
As he got within 10 feet, the face disappeared. Not like it ran, but like it stopped being a face the moment the angle changed. It became just trees and shadows. He turned back to me with the same grin.
Faces in clouds, remember?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
You're spooking yourself.
Whatever.
I said, and I forced my feet to move again. Reached a clearing maybe 5 minutes later. It wasn't a big open field or anything, just a spot where the trees pulled back and the sun had space to hit the ground. There were rocks and a fallen log and a patch of grass that looked weirdly untouched, like no deer had ever stepped there. A second trail marker stood at the edge of it, half tilted, PHL-1.8. My friend dropped his pack with a dramatic sigh.
Break time.
I hesitated, scanning the tree line. Nothing. No more woods. I told myself to stop being weird and sat on the fallen log. He pulled out a dented stainless steel water bottle with a bunch of stickers on it. One of those hydro flask knockoffs. He drank like he'd been dying. I had a cheap, crinkly plastic bottle from a gas station. The label half peeled off because I'd been fidgeting with it. We drank water, passed the granola ball back and forth like we were splitting counterbound. And for a minute, I felt stupid for being on edge. The clearing was warm, the sun made little bright spots on my friend's hair. It felt like a normal Saturday again.
Okay, so the legend?
Here we go.
The legend is that this used to be a settlement trail like 100 years ago. People would cut through here to get to the old mill.
In the mill that's gone.
Yeah, and there was this family, again, I know this sounds like a campfire, who got lost in a storm and froze out here. The mom was screaming for help, and the dad went looking, and...
What?
I asked. He held up a hand like he was listening. I listened too. At first I thought it was my ears adjusting. Then I realized it wasn't that. Everything had gone silent. No birds, no bugs, no wind. Not even that faint leaf shimmer sound you don't notice until it's gone. It felt like someone had pressed mute on the world. My skin crinkled.
What the?
My friend started. The sound came from the woods. Not close, not far. A scream. And it wasn't a movie scream. It was ugly. It sounded like someone being hurt badly, like pain dragged out into the air. It ended with a wet, choking noise. My friend stood up fast.
That's...
Don't.
I interjected, grabbing his sleeve. He shook me off.
That's a person.
Another scream. This one is higher, shorter, like someone couldn't keep it going. My friend took 2 steps towards the tree line.
Hello?
Stop! Stop yelling!
He turned towards me, eyes wide now.
What if someone's getting attacked?
And then the scream came again, right on the edge of the clearing. Close. Too close. It sounded like it was coming from behind a tree 10 feet away. My friend spun towards it, and I saw his shoulders go rigid, because something in the trees moved. Not a deer. Not like a bear. It moved like a person trying to move like an animal. Low. Quick. Wrong. My friend stepped back.
What?
The thing hit him. It came out of the shadows like it had been waiting for the exact moment, like it knew he would turn and his body would open up. There was a blur of motion, a heavy impact, and my friend went down hard. The sound of his pack hitting the ground, knocking the breath out of me. I stood up so fast my water bottle fell and rolled. I saw it then. Not clearly, but enough. Tall limbs, a torso that looked too narrow, a head that wasn't right, like the face was stretched or covered, like skin pulled too tight over something that didn't match, and eyes, flat eyes that didn't blink. My friend tried to scramble backward, hands digging into the dirt. The creature didn't rush. It hovered over him for half a second, almost considering. Then it opened its mouth, and the scream that came out wasn't a scream from a woman. It was my friend's voice. It sounded exactly like him, down to the little crack his voice gets when he's yelling too loud.
Help me!
My blood turned to ice, because the sound wasn't coming from my friend's mouth. It was coming from that thing. My friend's eyes went wide with realization, and he made a sound like a sob, like his body understood he was already too late. I grabbed my friend's arm and pulled.
Get up! Get up!
He tried. He got 1 foot under him. The creature moved, fast and precise. It grabbed him, not like an animal grabbing prey, but like a person grabbing a wrist in an argument. It yanked him back so hard his hand snapped and his teeth clanked. He screamed for real this time, a high, raw sound, and his nails tore through his dirt as he tried to hold on. I lunged forward without thinking and swung my pocket knife. It didn't even aim it well. I just stabbed at whatever I could reach. I hit something. The blade sank in and with a wet resistance and then slid out. The creature turned its head towards me. Not angrily. Curious. Like it hadn't expected me to do that. Then it moved. It didn't swipe at my knife hand. It went for me. It hit my chest like a tackle, hard enough to knock me backward. I felt the air blast out of me. My shoulders slammed into the log. Pain exploded down my side. Before I could get up, something sharp dragged across my arm. 3 lines of fire ripped free from elbow to wrist. I yelled and the sound came out thin because I couldn't breathe right. The creature was on me for half a second and then off again. Already back to my friend. Like I wasn't the meal. Just the obstacle. My friend was screaming, flailing, trying to kick away. And the creature, it did something I still can't replay without shaking. It leaned close to him, faces inches from his, and it whispered in his voice, a normal voice, casual, almost annoyed.
Stop.
My friend froze for a second because his brain tried to obey his own voice. That hesitation was all it needed. It jerked him sideways into the tree line with a strength that didn't match his body. He grabbed at a sapling and snapped it. He grabbed at a rock and missed. Then he was gone into the trees like someone dragged him underwater. The woods swallowed him. The clearing was empty except for me, panting, blood running down my arm, and the rolled water bottle glinting in the sun like it didn't understand anything had changed. I listened. No footsteps. No struggle. Then, from deeper in the trees, I heard it again. My friend's voice, not screaming now, calling my name, soft, friendly, like he was standing just behind a trunk, waving me over like everything was fine. My stomach heaved. I backed up, shaking my head, whispering to myself.
No.
Come here. I'm okay.
I clamped my injured arm to my chest and ran. I didn't care about the trail. I didn't care about staying calm. I only cared about getting out of the clearing and not letting my eyes get caught by the wrong shadow. The woods stayed silent as I ran, like the whole place was holding its breath. Ever so often, I'd hear my friend's voice again, further away, like it was pacing me from the trees. Sometimes it sounded like him laughing. Sometimes it sounded like he was crying. Once, it sounded like my mom. That almost made me stop. Almost. I forced my legs to keep moving until my lungs burned and my vision started to tunnel. I burst back into the main trail and kept running until I saw the trailhead kiosk through the trees. When I stumbled into the gravel lot, there was a lot of people there. A couple with a dog, an older guy loading a bike onto the rack. Normal life. I tried to talk, and I just couldn't at first. My mouth kept opening and nothing came out. Then words spilled, ugly and broken, and someone called 911. An EMT wrapped my arm and asked me questions I couldn't answer. Where exactly did it happen? Which direction? How tall was it? What did it look like? I kept saying,
I don't know.
Because I didn't. I couldn't hold the shape of it in my mind. Every time I tried, it turned into trees again. The sheriff showed up and asked my friend's name. I gave just his first name. My voice shook so badly, it didn't sound like mine. They asked me if he had a phone, if he had a whistle, if he knew the trails. I kept staying at the tree line. waiting to see a pale face between the trunks. I didn't see anything, but when the search team started organizing, when radios crackled and flashlights got checked, people started moving with purpose. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I almost ignored it. My screen lit up. Unknown number. No contact name, just one text. Why did you leave me? Why did you leave him? And beneath it, an audio message attachment. I didn't open it. I didn't have to, because before I could even think, my phone speaker crackled. Just a half second of sound, like it played by itself. My friend's voice, close and clear, whispered like he was leaning towards my ear.
Come back.
I threw my phone into the grass so hard, it bounced. Everyone stared at me like I had lost it. Maybe I had, because when I looked back at the woods, I swear, just for a second, I saw a face in the trees, and it smiled. What did you guys think of that story? Because I loved it.
Sorry, the ending kind of got me a little bit.
I loved
What
how
I'm
you said
noticing is
it.
the more intimate moments are not getting caught on the current mic, but are getting caught on mine. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays.
I'm excited to hear the difference. That would be funny.
Oh, they're not going to know why we're laughing. They're going to be like, why are they laughing at Malcolm? Such
Either way, it
assholes.
works. I think it's hilarious.
But I like that story a lot. It felt like it was a Wendigo story somewhat, you know? And this one's actually pretty new.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do they say exactly where they go? I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
I want to see if it's a real place.
Yeah, look it up, yeah. Let's see if it's an actual trailhead. We should go to it, right, guys?
I'm down.
No.
Valid.
Is it Pine Hollow Loop?
Yeah. Is it real?
Okay. I'm still typing. I'm a little slow. My bad.
Well, as you type, Malcolm, if this was a short film, Malcolm, do you think it would do well?
In certain circles, yeah, I think it would do well.
Yeah.
Definitely eerie enough to be interesting. Like, just scary enough not to be like straight up horror, but like enough to really get a vibe of like somewhat terror.
I can really see I like how the tension was how it built. Mm-hmm. It was very tensional, you know? And I like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a builder.
Mm.
Good tension.
Yeah. It is a real place. It looks like it's in Iowa.
Really? In Iowa? Wow.
And I think...
Yeah? You think?
Oh, never mind. I thought I found like short film somebody made on YouTube. That's not what it is.
Okay. I was just gonna ask, is there lore behind this trail? Like, it's has stories like this is based off something that someone heard, or it just this guy probably lives here and wanted to tell a story about it.
Trying to see, I can't find anywhere with lore on it because it's all like, oh, you should visit. I don't know if I want to visit after this. Just saying.
Oh, so you don't want to go?
Oh, now you're unsure.
You know what? Screw it. I'll go.
Oh, okay.
I was because I thought everybody was going.
Nope.
Tell you what, Xen, I'll go up to the kiosk, but that's as far as I'll go. It's like,
all
okay.
Right, I'll go in alone. How about that?
You are wild. Good luck.
I can do anything once.
Yeah. I don't need to do it a second time. You guys will see if I can or not.
Damn.
You're going to get a text on your phone. Come back.
Like, yeah, I'm going to ignore that text and toss my phone. Just like that's what I said in the damn thing. Let it bounce. Like, yep, that phone's dead to me.
Hey, well, look, I was the one that did that, not you.
That's true. That's true. But I will say today we had some really good stories.
Oh yeah, I loved them.
I'd agree.
Like, now which one do you think did the horror build up better between the two?
I like the second one a lot more.
I'd agree. The second one was definitely.
Yeah. I think
Not saying anything bad about the first one though.
No,
the first one
one's
is really
still
good.
great.
Yeah, they're both really good. I think I like the second one more as well because of the conversation between the guys. It felt so normal. It felt real, which I think played to it.
Yeah, I felt a lot more in character, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, same.
And Malcolm, you played it well. I was like, damn, you just jumped in. I was like, I loved it. Anything you guys want to add? All right.
Not particularly.
All right. Well,
Other than happy start of Black History Month. It's been a pleasure to read with y'all. We'll be back again shortly. Maybe I'll be
Shortly.
here. We'll see.
my God. All right. Peace, y'all.
Well, we really appreciate you guys for watching or listening in. Until next time.